What's going on, guys? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the Everyday Growth Advisors pre-market live stream. I hope all of y'all are doing well. Just wanted to come in by and check in with all of y'all on this brilliant Monday. We've had quite a run on the S&P 500 since the last week's live stream, since we were back. Just want to continue on with this momentum and kind of give you guys the insights that we all kind of have been missing for a while, so I want to come here and give some context. Last week's focus was mainly on looking at how far this market can run up. I did mention a couple of different times that this market has legs to potentially go higher, further, for longer, right? And I just killed a spider. Okay. Sorry, there's a spider running across my desk. But yeah, last week the main area of discussion was the fact that the S&P 500 continues to be bullish and will continue to be bullish until we get up into this 78 to 100 level, right? This was the level we were looking at. We came really close to it, to be honest. We came super close. We have been doing really good. Let's kind of dial into this 4-hour chart here, and because on a daily, you can't really get much information more than what we have at the moment. We also did, from the CTA report, map out 3 potential areas in which we would see pullbacks eventually going to. The first area was the 46.90. The second area was the 45.78. The third area, if we got a very deep retracement, would be the 4400s. And I will leave these values here so that in the future we can see if we actually retest them, because those are key values in which we are seeing the CTAs form support and resistance. Okay, so that's what you need to know with that. Now, in terms of just overall sentiment, you can see that Friday, we had a very bullish move after FOMC, the day after FOMC or so. And we started to head up into this 49.73. There were a whole bunch of earnings that came out also. Good earnings on companies like Amazon, good companies on earnings like Meta, and then those two formed a big part of the reason why we rallied across the last session. Meta was up a whopping 22%. Amazon was up also about 10%. They form a big percentage of the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Hence, you saw this big explosive wave. You can see on the NASDAQ, that wave is still very intact. And now we are flirting with this very specific resistance at around 17,600. And if we do break that, then the NASDAQ moves up into 18,100, which will be a new all-time high. Now, there is a definite possibility that this continues going on. But at the same time, I want to be wary that this is a 5th wave completion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see on the NASDAQ, right? You can see this right here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5th wave completion wave, after which a retracement could potentially occur. Not saying that it will, but potentially we could see a pullback somewhere around in this level. So as I had mentioned on the previous live stream from last week, we were looking at the 61.8 extension, 49.21, to lead us into this next phase, which is the 78.6 here at 5,000. And the whole of this time in this area here, I was saying, is a good spot to sell calls, to start not going outright short, but basically taking advantage of the idea that we might start going sideways for a little while. Okay, and so that could easily set up a range where we are right now, and that's what I just want to kind of get you guys to think about for a little bit, because once that range starts getting set up, then everybody's going to start speculating up or down, and that's where there's a lot of money to be made as an option seller, right? As far as where we are in terms of that, I think that we have a little bit of upside more, like literally a couple 20, 30 points upside. But this one candle here from today's session in the afternoon is also telling a story that we might get a pullback of some kind. Back down to 49.21, or back down into 4,900 period for more liquidity. Okay, for more liquidity. So I'll be watching that as well. Out of China, we had some freak show incident happen on the CSI. What was it? China small caps. I'm not sure if you guys saw this. Hold on. So small caps in China today were down 27%. There was a very big drop in Chinese mainland small medium caps that are unprofitable. You can see that majority of the basket, on the other hand, for example, Baba was non-affected, 9988, which is the Alibaba in Hong Kong session. The good quality Chinese stocks didn't really get hit that bad. But just talking about general China consensus right now, it's really, really bad. And I think this is the time when fear is at an all-time peak. Look at the price of NEO here, guys. The price of NEO is approaching sub $5 after a peak price of $65, $66, right? And I remember a lot of people, within 2021, 2022 coming to me and telling me that they've loaded up a shit ton of NEO in their portfolios and, it's a great stock, it's going to rally and this and that. Now, really important for you to understand that a company's stock price is very heavily dependent on its ability to bring in free cash flow, keep its operating expense low, be a sustainable business. And that's the reason why you're seeing a lot of these EV companies do very poorly now. Look at this and then look at Lucid, right? What's Lucid now? $2? What is it? Sub $2? Oh, it's $3.30, right? This is the other one, right? This was supposed to be Tesla killer, right? Look at what's happened to it. $3, right? So some of these are approaching the levels at which even I might start bidding for, right? Because they're really, really undervalued, right? A stock like JD, which is very immense competition to Baba, is trading at $21 below, coming back down to literally lows of 2019, 2016, that level, right? And even a company like Tencent is coming down massively to its low price. So, anyway, my point is China is very cheap right now, and there's some turmoil going on in that market. So take advantage of it if you haven't yet. Just my 2 cents. On SPX, we have a little bit more upside, just to be very clear. But I do see that upside only come if we get a little bit of a pullback, because that's what we're seeing from price action just here. And if we don't manage to pull back to 49.21, or we don't manage to cross 4,900, we keep bouncing up here, then 5,000 is going to be a very, very natural hit. Okay. Bond market, once again, yields going up, right? Bonds coming down, yields going up. You can see that the 10-year yield once again is up about 2%, right? And at the same time, when yields go up, remember that does devaluations for equities. So you have to be keeping a watchful eye on this, because remember, yields could come up to 4.189% here and then reject and come back down again. And that's what I'm saying. That might cause us the range, right? And you look at a dollar index on top of that, right? Big range, right? Huge range. So this could also come back up here to 104.612 and then come back down, right? So then that sets up another wave. So these are all the things that I'm keeping a watch at to ensure that I don't lose my mind. For those of you that are feeling lost, if you're feeling lost, I want you to type in the chat now, I'm feeling lost, right? And I want you to tell me, what is it that you're actually feeling lost about? Is it the sentiment of the market? Is it the valuations of the market? Is it, specific setups? Go ahead, put it in the chat right now. There's quite a few of you. I'm pretty sure you have some stuff on your mind. Get it out there, right? Get it out. We have a whole community of traders who are like-minded. We are all here to help you in one way or another. Share your thoughts, share your concerns, because everybody will want to help, and even I can help you, right? Even I can respond. So if you have a question, something you're feeling lost about, something you're feeling not good about, let us know what it is in the chat right now so we can help you out, okay? The VIX remains slightly muted here, but still interesting on a slight uptrend. Then you have headlines from the weekend, Sunday, about the US having some rife within, Yemen and I believe Iran. And there's a whole bunch of conflict going on in that area once again. I felt there's a possibility for a potential rise in oil and gas. So I will be potentially looking at this as an opportunity in the next 1 week or so. I want to say maybe even this week. If I get a nice price action signal here, I might go for a potential long on that sector. But I don't have any confirmation yet. So I personally will not touch it until I see a confirmation. Wells Fargo Chase, you guys remember this one? We played this 2 weeks ago, and it's still been on a pretty nice upward movement here. Things have been moving pretty nice with the stock. So wanted to bring it to your attention. Tesla. Now, this is probably the one which I get the most requests for to break down. So you guys want me to go through Tesla? So let me give you two perspectives. The first perspective will be from the perspective of being an investor. That means you are buying shares, you're buying equity, or the perspective of a trader. Okay, so the two largely different perspectives. Remember, you can wear both hats, but don't wear them at the same time, right? So Tesla's very important demand zone is in this area. Okay, in this area, below it, basically, right below it. So anywhere from here all the way down is all its demand. So there is a natural suppression for prices to come down into this area. Okay, it's very, very possible. But this area here, 184, 185, is not an absolute terrible area to add your first purchase of shares. If you are somebody who does not own Tesla stock and you want to buy some, this is a good area to add your first position. But not all, right? Remember, you don't need to do one or the other to go in extremes. Don't go and buy all your positions at one time, and then don't go and say to yourself that I'm not going to buy any positions neither. There is a balance, right, as an investor. So buy your first tranche here. That means, when I say first tranche, it means you can have 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4. That means you're going to buy 3 times or 4 times, okay? So you can buy your first of 3 here positions, equal weighted, and then you can add more if it comes down to 160, and add more if it comes to 170, right? And if it doesn't come down into these areas and it comes back here and it just bounces, then what you can do is you can buy it on the way back up, right? So you don't need to stress, but what I would do is add a first position here so that you have exposure at 184, 185, right? And then you can slowly add more as it comes down or add more when it goes up, okay? Now that's your investor sentiment, okay? What about trading sentiment? Well, a lot of you would be seeing that it's hitting the bottom channel here, right? So a lot of people might have gone long, or they might be wanting to go long here, but you obviously don't have enough information just looking at this, right? So you need to move it to a smaller time frame. Now, if you look at this price action just structurally, right? I like to look at basics, okay? Don't overcomplicate, don't turn on your indicators, turn it into a rave yet, right? Look at the basics, guys. Don't, I always see traders run into like a wall sometimes. It's like, oh, this is going up while the RSI is hitting into a 55-degree angle, and then the moving averages are bouncing on the 200 and 150 and 500, and then this is in a 23-degree angle and this and that. Just look at the basics. First things first, you have not come out of a downtrend. This thing has been making lower highs and lower lows, and lower highs and lower lows, and now is showing signs of moving sideways. Right? You're moving in a channel now. Up, down, up, down, up, down. So until and unless Tesla breaks in either of these directions, and what is the direction? Either it needs to break above 196.45, 196.50, right? Or it breaks below 180 even, right? 180 even. So either here, this is your bearish setup, or here, which is your bullish setup, right? And these two areas, let's make them a bit thicker so you can see them, right? And these two areas will be your breakout zone where you're going to see how price action interacts with this. Now, it doesn't mean that Tesla moves up to 196.50 and it starts moving higher than this means you go long. Or if it comes down here to 180 and breaks this means you go short. That is not what that means, okay? What that means is, you first of all, if you are at opposing ends, right, here or here, right, then you have to see whether we get a rejection or a bounce at this area. Okay, and that means either if you break out, make sure that it's not a fake out. That means you actually wait for demand to consolidate. If Tesla really moves up here and breaks, it needs to come back down and back test this whole area to make sure that this area is sustainable for another run to the upside. That's how you're going to confirm your bullish momentum. Can you guys hear me? I haven't had anyone reply in the chat yet, so I'm getting a bit concerned. Who can hear me right now? And do you agree with me so far? Who's here? Hello? Anyone here? Now, for downside on Tesla, the break of 180 will confirm for us a wave down, but we need to see how we interact once again here, right? So break down, retest in this zone, right? Okay, cool. And then a continued rejection will show us the way down into 170. So this is the thing, you gotta have your thinking cap on that. If you are on the bottom part of this, that means if you are at 180, your best risk to reward ratio trade is to the upside. And if you're up here on 196.50, then your best risk to reward ratio trade is to the downside, because your upside here is going to be somewhat capped. You have a decent risk off sentiment. And then don't forget that your long setup here, right? Your long setup, if let's say you enter in this zone, if you control your risk, right, and you're aiming for this 206, which is the next level, a tight stop, even at a stop at 191 or 190.50 will give you a 2.66 risk to reward ratio trade, right? So this is what I want you guys to start looking at, is being more patient, being more approachable with this. I probably made the least amount of trades last year, but I was content with the amount of money that I made, because personally I like quality over quantity, and I don't like throwing darts at a dartboard hoping to hit bullseye. Okay, so that's Tesla. That's your main plan, investor wise or trader wise. Now Uber, I remember I told you guys about Uber, right? Price discovery, it's still rolling, right? Still going. Now I closed out majority of my position in this, but if it can, pull back at 69 and still shows bullish momentum, I'll happily take a $70 call and play this up all into the 38.2. You need to buy time on this though, because this thing, right? And then Shopify, the one that we saw a lot of upward wicks on, it did sell off, but it faked out, so I didn't even play this one. I'm waiting for a real signal, right? I think this gets up to 87, 88, or somewhere up here before it actually makes that move down. So we'll continue to review this one. Baba, we're not really going to talk about. There's nothing much here. It is showing signs of potential breakout, but not yet. Amazon, I'm not going to talk about it. This one's like it just rallied very strongly. Has potential to run further, and I'm not touching this, right? And then you have Airbnb, which we also spoke about. The most obvious head and shoulder, I told you guys about this, the most obvious inverse head and shoulder, which was publicized everywhere on the internet. And you see what happened? Fake out, cave back in, right? So a lot of people got trapped in this one, and I guarantee you that it will keep moving sideways for a while until it actually breaks out. So I would give this at least a couple more days. And then you have Disney also, which I spoke about in the last session, right? This is another one. SPX is one that we saw unusual options activity on. So March, $41 calls, and January 26, $40 calls being bought on this. In case you guys are wondering what FCX does, they do minerals or mining. So this is actually more of a materials play, which is a sector that is kind of underbought. And then you have TSM. This one also is seeing some 115 calls being bought for May. So fairly at the money / in the money. I would be happy to see this being played up into the 128, 129 region if possible. Maybe not 129, maybe 126, 127. And the last one is Las Vegas Sands. This one is another one we saw unusual activity on. As Chinese New Year comes along and a lot of China mainland people move out to kind of get into areas such as Macau and abroad, this is one of the stocks I'm looking at for benefiting from that. So I might take a long position on this one. The chart's set up nicely for it. NetEase, this is another one, company that does technology services, IT. Could be a nice play above 86.75. And Marvel Semiconductor, I spoke about this before it broke out, or rather while it was breaking out, right? We followed this entire move up, down, and now we're seeing it play out here. A bounce here and continuation move to the upside could see the retest of 74.75. So I'll be watching this as a potential trade idea as well. The technicals look pretty good on this one, pretty solid, right? But once again, this has the issue where it's in a 5-wave end cycle. So once again, you know, from the bottom up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a big one. So this could be a consolidation before another move, or you could have a pullback. So I'll be watching respectively to take either bullish or bearish on this one. And the last one is Snow. Look at Snow. So Snow is another beautiful one. Broken out, has tons of upside, could move very aggressively. This one has naturally a lot of momentum behind it. So I would be watching this one for a pullback and then enter this long potentially up into the first level, 222, 225. Second level, 240, 241, around that area. And then from there, we can reposition ourselves. But there's some nice real upside here. Can you look at SE? Sure, absolutely. So SE, this is the Asian version of Wish or Amazon. So still in a consolidation phase, right? Still haven't broken out. It needs to break and breach this major level here at $47. It needs to breach this level here at 42 where it is. It has a lot of breaching to do before it gets there, and then the short is initiated at 35. So it still has to break this, test this, get rejected here, or you know, anything that it needs to do up here, and then come back down, retest this, and then come back up, break, and then finally rally. So, but I do like this as a potential trade only when monetary policy is about to be loosened. Remember that IWM has a handful of stocks that are profitable. This is not in the profitable universe. So this stock is essentially one of those unprofitable small cap stocks, right? Because you can see 23 billion market cap, but this stock is largely unprofitable. Is Nvidia basically uninvestable until it comes back down to earth, or will it ever? Okay, so this is a good question. Now, I don't think it's uninvestable. I think it's just you're buying a asset at a very expensive price. Like how I like to tell my students, mentees, or anyone who you know, attends the courses or you know, just generally ask me questions. A good investment at a bad price is a bad investment. So you buy something overvalued like this, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for it. Yeah, it can continue running. Sure, it can go up to 800,000, whatever, right? But you need to understand that at some point in time, this will come down, right? It will come down. So rather you wait for that to happen to get invested than to buy this here at this price. So if you missed the run, don't FOMO, right? Don't FOMO. You will get the opportunity. Stocks are like a fashion show. Some things come into fashion, some things don't. This year, this is in fashion. Last year, what was it? Last year, it was energy, right? Or the year before that, it was energy, right? We had one of the best performances from energy, right? And tech has been doing pretty well this past 1 year as well. Semis just had their golden year because of AI, right? So I would say it's not uninvestable, it's just a bad price, right? So I would wait. Personally, I would wait for it to come down, wait for it to come back to earth, right, as you said, and then you get a better idea on buying this, right? But Nvidia is for sure overvalued here, right? For sure. They're building in the future valuation of the stock now at this point. That's what happens when sentiment starts to get out of the way, right? So that's pretty much all I have in terms of breakdowns. I do have an announcement, and this is for anybody who is looking for private mentorship. So I'm opening this up to the live stream first because you guys are my day ones, and I know that a lot of the people who attend live streams, they are people who are genuinely putting a lot of effort into their craft. So I'm opening this up to you guys first. That I have a total of 3 spots open for a private mentorship, which I will give my time to. I'm building a whole new pathway for traders in this year, okay? And actually, you guys are the first ones hearing into this, but essentially our entire platform is going to be changing very soon because I've had an epiphany and I see what I want to do more clearly now than just only focusing on trading. I really want to be able to touch people individually and make changes and see the results. There is something about, touching someone's lives, changing their life, changing the way they think on a personal level, that is just simply very fulfilling to me. And so I have 3 slots open. If you are interested, you can DM me on Instagram, and we can work out, the cost of what that looks like and all that. Things that are basically admin stuff, right? But I do have 3 slots open that I'll be opening up to everybody. You guys are open to it first. I'll post it on Instagram within the next 2 days or so, and then after that, we'll see out of the people who I'm going to choose. I'm going to also be making a form in which you'll have to apply. So that will be that, and I'll put out more information on that very soon. Okay. But any other questions that you guys have? So I do see some kind of PayPal earnings this week. Yes, I saw that. Remember there was that PayPal event. We played that to the upside, and then after that we took the profits off the table. That was beautiful because it sold off right after that. Remember, right? There was some the CEO was telling. I was telling you guys the buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, which was this move up here, right? We played that perfect, exited, dumped everything, and then it came back down. PayPal earnings, I probably will be able to get the data, but I will never bet on earnings just because it's always a gamble. So, but who knows? Maybe they do something that's going to be interesting, right? So that's all I have for you on this very lonely Monday. And I will be, trading whatever I see as an opportunity. But remember, you have a lot of earnings coming out this week, guys. Just as a reminder, let me show you guys, right? Look at them on the earnings coming out. You have Caterpillar before open, McDonald's. You have, so these already all just came out. Estee Lauder, and then now after the market close, you have Palantir. You have, let's see, tomorrow you have Eli Lilly, Spotify. You have, after the market closes, you have Snapchat, Enphase, Ford, Chipotle. You have Amgen, Gillette Sciences, and next day, Wednesday, you have Alibaba, you have Uber, CVS, Roblox, you have Hilton, you have PayPal the next day on Wednesday after close, as Santos mentioned, Disney, you have Wynn, you have Paycom, you have, what else? On Thursday before the open, ConocoPhillips, what else? Under Armour, after the close, you have Affirm, Pinterest, Cloudflare, Expedia, and then Friday you have PepsiCo. Yeah, these are the more known brands, right? So there's a whole lot of earnings that are reported this year. So even though I do want to trade and I do want to make some money, I also want to that there are a whole bunch of money, amount of money that's going to be sloshing around. Okay, SoFi, let's do it. SoFi. All right, let's do it. Oh, typed it wrong. Okay, so this one I've been bullish for a while. This one I've been bullish for a while. Ever since the student loans and then monetary policy factor was unlinked. And honestly, I personally think that getting in at $7 per share is a damn good price for this company because of its valuation based on its forward earning multiples, and then the possibility of it having a lot of access to liquidity when monetary policy loosens sometime at the end of this year. So I think that this stock, in the very lowest chance, has a chance to go up at least 50%, back up to $10, right? Like at least $10, $11 somewhere in there. That means it has the capability to go up significantly, right? And so in terms of where it is technicals, it's retraced back after extending a little bit, and now we need to draw a new Fibonacci retracement here. So just going off this previous wave up here, right? You can see a bounce off the 61.8 at $7.22 will potentially set off, or it did potentially set off another buying range here up to $8, $9. So you might want to see what happens if it comes back down to this 722 range again. And if it bounces once again, then I would be happy to actually play this up into the $8, $9 range, because this just looks like a really cool, good setup for bulls if you can get positive catalyst here. Price action, yes, it's being within the trend and it's sideways here, but still I would say more slanted to the upside here than I am to the downside, and I have a bias because I'm invested. So let me put that bias out there and make sure that you guys know it. I do own shares in SoFi, so just wanted you guys to know that. Okie dokie. Well, I hope that you guys have a great trading session today. Make sure you smash the like button right before you leave so this stream can reach more people like you. And I love all of y'all. I'll see y'all back on Wednesday. And maybe this time I'll do a stream with my face in it. Do you guys want to see my face during the stream? If you do, then let me know. All right. Well, have a good one. Take care. Peace out. See y'all back on Wednesday.